Well, Mayor Zach, welcome back. Another edition of Mayor's Monday here. We had a little bit of an overcast day, a little cooler day as you're getting ready for to introduce us to what's going to be two of the big projects that we've been talking about for really the last 6 months to a year or so.
That's right.
It's first off to my right, to your left over here. We've got the YMCA Boys and Girls Club VA project that's going on here. Give us an update on where we are on that.
Yeah, so we're just situated in front of the Centralia Center. The Centralia Center contains the community theater, which is a 100 and some seat theater in our city building here, the Centralia Center. It's also home to our Lowell Senior Center. The Lowell Senior Center does senior programming, trips, and a lot of other projects throughout their senior association. So then attached to this building will be the Veterans Affairs Community Veterans Clinic. And so that project is actually taking a veterans clinic from a 10,000 square foot veterans clinic and making it an 18,000 square foot veterans clinic. So very large upgrade for them. Their model is a lot more than just providing healthcare services, but now adding more job placement, mental health services, and the like. And then adjacent to that is the new YMCA and then Boys and Girls Club. The YMCA's new gymnasium is situated right to the rear of it, as well as the new pool. And then just behind me over my left shoulder will be the new athletic field. So that'll be one of the last things that they'll put into the project. But thought it'd be good to get on site here to show folks what's been updated or what's changed since we've talked about the projects generally on the other side of the building. And then over to my right is a project we've talked a little bit about. We talked a lot about housing and how the city is addressing and promoting additional housing units and new housing stock in the city. This project will be a primarily 55 and older apartment building. It'll be 40 units with some underground parking. They just started excavating at the site, so there's quite a hole there and some noise today as well. And that project will also hold some space for veterans, so some VA housing units as well.
So then how important is it to have all of these services here kind of in one area? Because we're in the lawn that we're standing in right now. I mean, we're within a stone's throw from all of these projects that can benefit the seniors here in the community.
Yeah, I really think that we're finding that a lot more efficiency can be gained by collaboration and by working together. And sometimes collaboration entails bringing them physically together, as is the case with the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, as is the case with the housing project just near me, that folks, if they're users of the senior center, will literally be able to walk across the parking lot or around the parking lot and get to, in this case, today's bingo day at the senior center, so it's very busy there. But they take trips, they do a lot of other senior programming. They've also just built a nice garden project where they're growing vegetables and other produce right at the senior center. And then there's a nice social space. So a lot of folks, as we've found through whether it's AARP research or others, that the more active that folks are, whether they're coming out to the senior center getting programming, maybe a meal, it's also a Meals on Wheels meal site. So not only are we providing meals at the center, we're also distributing meals to pretty much the entire county here out of the Wisconsin Rapids Center. And then we're just a block and a half away from the river. And all the trail system that we've talked about in the past, we're working to promote some other handicapped accessibility just from this point to the river. But really, when you talk about being able to provide services, services effectively, this is really important for us to have all these things really in the neighborhood of each other.
Yeah, absolutely, and because that means you're creating a community. You're creating that space for, as you said, collaboration and things like that. And it's been shown as people age, it's better if they're together than if they're separate and spread out from the things that matter to them.
That's right. People live longer, right? If they're not only physically active but mentally active and well. And I think that's what we're finding with the YMCA Boys and Girls Club and the nexus between health and then the VA, the Veterans Clinic that'll be located just adjacent to here. We're going to really, I think, set the community up for a generation of success and renewed health and aspects around how we provide care and provide support to members in our community.
Speaking about the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club project, as we kind of touched on it a little bit, just give us an update on how the construction is going there. When can folks maybe expect to start utilizing this space? Because again, as we saw when I turned the camera, they've made some some good progress on this multi-level facility.
Yeah, the shell has gone up pretty quickly. The demolition of the mall happened a lot faster than that, but they're on track to open. The Boys and Girls Club is on track to open. In fact, their space is all painted. They're going to be starting to put their finishes in very soon. Maybe on a next edition we can go in the building, but they're scheduled to move in just after the turn of the year in January or so. And then the facility itself, they're expecting to move in the YMCA into March. The VA clinic will be a little bit after that, because presently the VA clinic is situated on a portion of the mall property. The structure of the mall was retained where the VA clinic is, and they'll relocate into their new space sometime in the first quarter of next year.
And I believe you said before we started here that they're just actually a little behind schedule on that. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. They were expecting to begin construction around the same time as the rest of the YMCA work, but they couldn't because of federal government shutdown, which was necessary for them to be able to approve leases and agree to review that space. So when the government shut down and folks weren't working, that's the consequence of that. As is this project. This project was supposed to break ground in early spring. Here we are at the end of June, and the project literally just broke ground last week.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a pretty spectacular pile of dirt behind you there as well. I'll turn the camera, as you can see. The progress, as you said, it's been slow going, but they're trying to make up for lost time, to say the least there.
Yeah, we're hopeful for good weather. I mean, on all these construction projects, and not only the private construction projects we're talking about, but the public construction, the street construction, the aquatic center, all those projects rely on a certain number of working days, and those working days are dependent upon good weather. So we're optimistic that you know, we paid for a long winter and a terrible spring, that hopefully we're going to get some forgiveness over the course of summer, where things will finally warm up a little bit and stay a little drier for periods of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that we haven't quite been seeing here lately. I mean, it's been well documented that a lot of things are behind schedule, you know, be that agriculturally, be that construction-wise, just because we haven't been able to get some good days to string a good days together to work outside and take care of those things. But of course, that's off your hands, as much as people like to give the mayor grief for weather one way or another. It's out of your control.
That's right. I joked with some folks at the farmers market today that I've been ordering good days for farmers market and lunch by the river, but I don't know about the rest of the days. We'll see if I can get lucky the rest of the summer to order some good weather. Yeah,
absolutely. Talk about that a little bit as well. I mean, as we're recording this, you said you just came from that, and it was absolutely crazy down there by the river today. How have those events and those gatherings been going here?
Well, as a result of the YMCA Boys and Girls Club project, the farmers market had to relocate this year. And we tried something different. We brought the farmers market right down to the riverfront. Some folks were skeptical because the traffic and the visibility wasn't necessarily as great as it was on the highway that the mall property was kind of situated along. But I would say they're just as successful, if not more. We'll see how the response continues to grow as the market vendors start bringing their produce, as the product gets ready for picking and distribution and sale. But by and large, the market along the river has really received some positive reviews from folks. We've also moved our lunch by the river to the west side of the river this year because of construction on East Grand Avenue. So while downtown by and large is torn up, there's been some good opportunities for the community to trial things in different places, like lunch by the river and the farmers market. But you know, like everything else, comes with the growing pains. And I think in Wisconsin Rapids, we've been very kind of forward and be willing to try different things. And that's one of the things we've been trying, is by moving some of these things to different parts of the downtown, you reach a different maybe clientele, different you know, and people start appreciating different parts of the downtown differently.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's something that we've well documented it. You've been working on it. You've been hoping to kind of revitalize things like that. Your downtown occupancy has gone down considerably. You've got nearly everything full right now, so you've got a pretty good core right there that can benefit from these events.
That's right, and you know, a big part of our focus, as we all know, we've talked about a lot, is populating the downtown. That the more we can populate in a fairly dense fashion, the more folks are living in the downtown that can receive and benefit from the services and the great amenities that are offered in our downtown. We do have some vacancy of space in our Centralia Center that we believe, as these things come online, the market viability and the interest changes and perhaps grows because of these projects.
Absolutely. Well, it's always great to get out and see the city almost come to life and try to revitalize and renew itself like this with these construction projects. Again, you know, you hear the noise in the background, but I'm sure you would rather have that in the background than have absolute silence.
That's right. You know, I think the cranes, you know, we've seen cranes for the last 6-9 months on the mall project. We're seeing cranes at the Boys and Girls, or at the pool project. We'll be soon seeing cranes over at the Metalco project as they get their groundbreaking, hopefully at the end of July. The state DNR is still working through their permit application, and as soon as they award their application, their permit, the Metalco project can begin construction. So yeah, folks that have expected and wanted new construction activity in Wisconsin Rapids, it's safe to say we're delivering on that promise, and so we're very proud to be showing these projects to all of our listeners.
3 cranes going in a town of 20,000 people. That's a pretty good per capita rate.
Yeah,
right?
I guess, right? Who's counting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Look at it that way. Lead a baseball statistics guy to come up with
That's
something.
right, yeah.
Well, Mayor Zach, we always appreciate the time. We'll look forward to where July takes us here in Wisconsin.
Great. Thanks, Michael.